How does the exam run? So it runs for 2 hours, including reading time. You get 1 minute reading time before each section. And you can only sit the exam once a year, and your results are only valid for 1 year. Now, each section is timed and graded separately, and it's graded between 300 to 900. If any of you are interested in how that works, there's a theory called the item response theory, which is the way in which all of this is marked. It is definitely not something you have to understand to sit the UCAT. It's just something if you're interested. But effectively, there is a scale between 300 to 900, and you are ranked on it. The average should be around 600 for most sections, but it usually fluctuates. With, as an example, verbal reasoning usually being the average being below 600 because students struggle with it. Now, so you get a score out of 3,600. For those of you who are quick at maths, you've realized that that's not 900 times 5. That's 900 times 4. It's because the first 4 sections, verbal, decision, quantitative, and abstract, are marked out of 900. This score is combined, and you get a score out of 3,600. And you do get a score out of 900 for SJT, but the ways it's used by different universities is very different. So some use it like a cutoff, others use it in borderline cases. There's certain indications this year that it's going to be slightly more important for some universities because of the pandemic, for example. So, it can be used when there's any doubt by universities, but the way a university uses it is very different. And now it's very early to be thinking about what is a good score, what isn't a good score. But if you are interested to know, guys, so the interim report just came out for UCAT 2020, which is the results that get released by Pearson VUE, the official, I guess, corporation that's in charge of creating the UCAT. And basically, the scores were slightly elevated, but effectively, most years, in and out, if you get a score of 3,000 out of 3,600, now that's like, oh my God, I've lost 600. Well, actually, that's like phenomenally high. And as you saw with Emma, she got 2,990, 2,960? Was that?
2,990.
2,990, and that was the 96th percentile. And anything above the 90th percentile is considered quite good. So just to provide you guys some context. And then, she ended up getting 2 offers and 3 interviews. So once again, really, really good scores, which should provide you with a little bit of comfort knowing that you don't have to be perfect to score well in the UCAT. And in fact, you shouldn't be aiming for perfect, as you will probably realize when you start preparing, because it is literally like that whole idea of driving really fast and avoiding completely crashing out. Yeah, you make a couple of mistakes here and there. And that's actually okay. That's expected. And the way the exam is designed, most high scoring students can just recognize where they're going to make a mistake, skip that early on, and then do the other questions. But anyway, that's how the exam runs. It's online. Oh, and I should mention it's held at a testing center. So even though it's online, you have to go to a Pearson VUE testing center to sit it. And in that testing center, there'll be you and a couple other kids, each with their own computer, with those clackety thick keyboards that I'll touch on later, a wired mouse, some earplugs, and you just sit it while they're creepily watching you from another room. It's not that creepy, but it is if you think about it. All right. Now, for some of you, this might be relevant. I'll quickly touch on this. There is also something called the ucat-bootcamp. So if you have, specific disabilities or injuries, then you may be entitled to sit the ucat-bootcamp, which effectively, most commonly, gets you 25% extra time. But there are other considerations that they can do, such as giving you 50% extra time, giving you 5-minute breaks between sections if you have some sort of chronic fatigue syndrome, or an access to medical items that's not on the comfort aid list.